Hi, this is Kevin, and this is the console AUT IO video on the test path.
Let's take a quick look at a couple of easy ways that you can get data into and out of a console application under test. So here I have a program that simply does 3 reads and 3 writes. So we got a read line followed by a write line. And what we want to be able to do is pass information in to this console application, and that will be read by the read line, and then echo it back out using the write line. And of course there's 3 of them. So let's take a look at a test script that could do that. We start by creating an array of strings. Now here obviously I have a variable that's an array of strings, but clearly this could have been read in from a text file or a database or any way you'd like to create an array of strings. And then when you create your string reader, instead of passing it that array of strings, you pass the result of a string.join using as a delimiter new line. So it's going to put a new line sequence between each string. So it is as if the user had typed in the string plus the carriage return line feed. And then as we've seen before, you set into the string reader and set out to the string writer. Then you run the application under test, and once that's accomplished, you take your string writer, convert its output to a string, and split it based on environment.newline. And then as you can see, our test here is simply to walk through each of the arrays, which should be the same length, and assert that the result contains whatever the test input was. Of course, in general, you're not going to simply be testing to see whether or not the application under test echoed the results, but here's a simple way that you can do that. Now in this case, my test data was contained or otherwise was gathered inside of my test method. But you can do a very similar thing simply by passing parameters to your application under test. So let's take a look at an application under test that takes command line parameters. So as you can see here, all I've done is I'm going to echo out the command line parameters using a for each loop. So the test script for that, once again, we have our input as a string array, but this time we don't create a string reader. We simply capture the output and we pass our string array to the application under test. And as before, we take the string writer and split it based on environment.newline, and once again test to see that the result is contained in the test input. So that's a couple of ways you can deal with input and output to a console application. The highlights are somehow create a string array, join it using the new line as a separator, and then split it once you get the output back out using new line as again as a separator.
And that was the console AUT IO video on the test path. Thanks for watching.